Good evening, everyone. The time is now 6:05 and we're going to go ahead and get started. So this virtual information session this evening is for families interested in our elementary school program. So we're talking about families interested in kindergarten through fifth grades. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule tonight to sit and chat with us for a bit about what Cortellia Academy can offer your family. Tonight, we have some of our administrators on the line. I am Sophia Francis, one of the directors here at Cortellia Early Childhood Centers. We also have Miss Leonie Francis Bryan, who's the owner and operator of Cortellia Early Childhood Centers for the past 39 years. We have the educational director, Miss Lucretia Johnson, office administrators, Miss Charles, Miss Christian, and Miss Shiyama, as well as our accounts team, which is Mr. Francis and Mr. Nicholas, will also be joining us on this call as well. So again, we want to welcome you. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Please mute your microphones on your device and feel free to turn your webcam on or off. It's up to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be answering questions at the end of our presentation, but also if there's something that we're talking about and you're interested and it's pertaining to something that I'm saying or one of our other presenters, drop it in the chat and we'll try to address it at that time or definitely at the end. Because again, there will be a question and answer session at the end. So our agenda for tonight's meeting, we're going to give you a snapshot of Cortellia Early Childhood Centers, our kindergarten through fifth grade programming, health and safety protocols that we're now adhering to due to the pandemic, CECC's policies and school hours, tuition and fees, and keeping information current. Once you're a registered student, all the information that we need to do to keep you abreast on what's going on within the school community. So let's get started. A brief history about our program. As some of you are very aware, we have 3 locations. Cortellia Early Childhood Centers was started on Cortellia Road, hence the name, at 1110 Cortellia Road back in 1983 by our owner and operator, Leonie Francis Bryan. Our mission at our school and her vision was to provide an excellent education, meeting each student's interests, abilities, needs, promoting an appreciation for racial, religious, and cultural differences. It's a school for everyone, where children can come, be comfortable, and thrive. We have an experienced and qualified school-age teaching staff, a structured, child-friendly, and welcoming environment. We have shared expectations for our school as well as our parents, and learning at our school definitely extends beyond the classroom. And that's what you're getting from the private setting as far as joining the Cortellia community. So like I said before, we do have 3 locations. So we do have one at 1110 Cortellia Road, which houses some of our smaller ones, which are ages 2 and 3. We also have our Marlboro location, which houses solely our pre-kindergarten and our kindergarten students. And then we have our Cortellia Academy, which we're focusing on this evening, which houses young 2s and 3s, 1 classroom of it, 1 pre-K class, and then the rest of our students, the elementary school, kindergarten through 5th grade. So if you're on this meeting tonight, if you have a child in kindergarten, they could be at the Marlboro building based on your geographic location and where you would like to be. But once you get up to the higher grades, you would need to come over to the Bedford location where we do house another kindergarten class and go all the way up to 5th grade. So families who choose Cortellia, families who are at Cortellia, we have families who are active and involved. Parents who choose to be a part of our school are families who want that close-knit, intimate environment for their family. You want to know the teacher, you want to know the director, you want to know the owner and operator, you know the accounts team. We're a small, tight-knit community. They're active, they're involved, they're a part of what's going on within the school. You're also dedicated to your child's education. And what I mean by dedicated is, we're assigning homework, we're doing family projects, we're all engaging in helping your child get their best foot forward in their educational journey. So it's a partnership and we're in this together. Work with their child's teacher, working with the school administrator, assisting children with their homework, and especially as you become a part of the Cortellu family, we don't like rushed homework. We like homework that you're really understanding what you're getting involved in. They know what they're internalizing and they're doing it neatly. Because we do realize in more recent days and times with the technologies and things of that nature, children like to rush to move on to something else. But their educational foundation is important. And we are looking for parents who understand the importance of an educational foundation and are committed to putting in the work and being a part of the community. Adhere to school policies and procedures. Like I said, we do have a very structured environment. So without anything, if you don't have rules and regulations, it can go a little bit awry. So we try to make sure that everything is professional and that we hear you and you hear us. Attend our school meetings and the conferences that we may have. And it's so much easier now that we have Zoom. You can be home, you can be cooking, and you can still be a part of what's going on within the school community. Participate in school functions, and last but not least, take care of their financial obligations to the school. Like we stated before, Cortellu Early Childhood Center and Academy is a small private school in Brooklyn, New York. And majority of our funding does come from parent pay. So the monies that parents pay to the school is what allows us to fund our programming, pay our teachers, pay our staff, keep the lights on, keep everything flowing. We're not a public school. We only have one contract with the DOE, and that's to provide pre-K for all services. But outside of that, everything else is funded by our parents and families. Our K-5 program highlights. So small classroom sizes. Our typical class size for our kindergarten through 5th grade programs can range anywhere from 12 kids in a classroom upwards of 18 to 20. But that's within the range of how many kids are in your particular K through 5th grade classroom. We do have a rigorous as well as differentiated instruction. We do understand that kids work well. We like to challenge them, give them new ideas, new concepts, higher order level of thinking. And we can really reach out and get involved with our kids when our classroom sizes are not the typical size of a public school classroom, as well as differentiating the instruction, making sure that Mary learns this particular way and Tommy learns that particular way. So within the classroom, we have multiple tables. If they're not at single desk, kindergarten classrooms, sometimes you have table A, table B, and now due to COVID, we also have partitions at our tables. So everyone can still have their individual space. But most importantly, why I highlighted it in red is that we are in person. God willing, all has been going well at Cortellu. We've been open since September 8th, and we have been moving forward. Not without incident, because, as far as COVID and how it's been affecting our community, there was a time when there were zones and they were closing down particular areas just because you were in the zone when Cuomo came out with that around September, October. But for the most part, our children have been in school in person. And when we do transition to remote, we do it seamlessly and probably for a week or 2 weeks at a time. But that only happened one time this school year. Effective teacher-student and teacher-parent relationships. Second languages are offered, and we do offer the language of Spanish. That is our language that we utilize at the school, and we have a Spanish teacher. We have computers, and with our computer program, we have a typing club and an introduction to programming, which the introduction to programming starts at the higher grades, more 3rd, 4th, and 5th, but the typing starts with our kids as early as kindergarten. Physical education. This year, we've been doing a lot of it on Zoom and via videos. And even when they were remote, we were still doing it at home at Zoom with our students. But on a typical non-COVID year, we did partner with our local YMCA, and we rented out the gymnasium and we utilized it every Friday from 1 to 2. But moving forward, we don't know exactly how that's going to go, if we're going to continue to doing it virtually and on site, or if we would be able to go back into gymnasiums. Performing and Creative Arts program. We do have something called Performing and Creative Arts on a Friday morning. So what happens is every Friday from 10 to noon, we have different course offerings that we offer the kids. This is for an additional fee, but what we do is we bring extracurricular activities into the school. So we have some children who take piano lessons. We have some children who take drum lessons. We have guitarists. We've had violinists, and we have dance classes. And then the creative arts, we also have a choir, and we have an art program where children get to do like fine arts, painting, drawing, sketching, and things of that nature. So all of those particular fees, you only get to choose one for the year. It starts from October and goes till the end of May, and different instructors come in to teach those specific lessons. And not only as an administrator, but as a parent, it was very helpful for me with my daughter who graduated, and now my son who's now involved at Cortell U enrolled, that piano lessons happened at school. So that was easier for me. And then even I think my son, he was doing choir. Choir lessons happen at school, opposed to Sunday and Saturday running around from different activities. So that's something to take into consideration as well. However, here's the clause. This year, due to COVID, we did put a pause on the program simply because, with the whole COVID thing, we don't want to have multiple people coming in and out of the building. But that is back in effect for October of next year, all going well, and restrictions being lifted. School performances, every year we have a winter show and we have a spring recital. So the winter show usually happens in December, January, and the spring recital happens in May. So all the children, all the pianists, the guitarists, we also have a band because the guitar, the drums, everyone pulls together, and the pianist, and they play some numbers. The different music teachers get together and create an ensemble. That's an amazing thing. And the dancers dance. And then with the artists who do the art by sketching and painting, we do have a night of the visual presentation, an art showcase. Last but not least, this is one of our things that we really like to do. We have local trips. Usually we try to take them to a Broadway show. And then we also do a museum and some things of that nature, things that go in line with the curriculum. But one thing that's a big highlight is always our international trips. So in 2017, I took a group of 47 parents. We went to San Jose, Costa Rica, and that was an amazing experience. So because our children are learning Spanish, we like to allow them to have this, not necessarily an exchange experience, but this immersion experience where they get to participate, take classes at another language, visit the Children's Museum, go on some different tours and highlights of particular countries. So 2017, it was Costa Rica. 2019, we went to Lima, Peru, and that was an amazing trip. We got to see one of the greatest wonders in the world, which is Machu Picchu. And we went to Cusco, and we went all over the country. It was an amazing experience. And we went again with probably, I think the group got a little bit bigger. So we had about 55 people who went. So moms, dads, grandmas, whoever would like to come, we plan for those usually 2 years out. So we go every odd year. So this year, which we weren't too happy about, but we did have to cancel our trip and postpone it. But we were going to Panama and to do an exchange program again, immersion program. And then we were also going to visit the Panama Canal and learn exactly how the canal works. So we even brought it to the attention with children, explaining to them about when the Suez Canal was going on, how we were going to see the Panama Canal and see how the locks work and how the ships go through to get to the other side, to get over to the Pacific. So amazing in-class experience, out-of-school experiences, just so that we're making sure we're accommodating the whole child. And we also efficiently prepare our students for middle school enrollment. So that's the whole admissions process, because after you finish coming here from K to 5, we want to make sure that we place you into the right middle school program that your child can continue to thrive. And that's where we talk about the interview process, the application process, which school works for your child, what school works for you, because you can't just choose schools by arbitrarily. So we'll help you with that whole process. And we start from the top of the year. Actually, we start from the fourth grade year, but at the top of the fifth grade year, we start working our way through that. Briefly, I'm just going to let you know some CECC COVID-19 safety protocols we implemented this year. So from our preschool all the way up to our elementary program, some of our classroom capacity sizes were limited from 15 to 18 students. When students come to school in the morning, we do have a health check, which will be performed upon the drop-off and pickup. So usually at the end, we're doing health checks to make sure when they're coming in that their temperature is good. There's the 3 or 4 questions that we ask. If they're feeling any particular symptoms, look on the paper here, feeling warm, any cough, flu, anything of that nature. The questions that they usually ask you when you walk into different buildings or to the doctor. All of our students at Cortelyou do wear face coverings. It is required to still wear a mask at this time. Our teachers, as well as our students, we also do have masks available if their masks fall or if they just need another mask, if it got wet, if it got dirty. And we do have mask and shield breaks throughout the day because obviously they can't eat with them. Sometimes when they go out, they can take it off if we're going for a walk just to kind of get some fresh air because it has been a change having a mask on for pretty much the duration of the day. We do a lot of frequent sanitizing of the school facility and hand washing procedures. We're constantly reminding them, we're using sanitizer, and we're doing that in between transitions as we move in and out of our classrooms or just within the classroom as we transition from different activities. And throughout the day, we have our custodians at all of our facility who work full time, and they're constantly going around cleaning up different areas that are high frequency touch areas, the doors, the bathroom handles, the bathroom sinks. And like I said, so far it's been a great year. Currently, all programs also are dismissed at 5:30, which in September we hope to go back to 6 p.m. just to provide sufficient time for our cleaning protocols. Because this year we do a lot of spraying of sanitization purposes just to make sure the building, and there's particular chemicals that we can't be in the building when the building's being sprayed in the evenings. So these are some of the things that we did to ensure and safeguard our school environment. Now I'm going to turn you over to another presenter, which is Mrs. Johnson, who is the Director of Education here at Cortelyou at the Academy Building.
Hi, good evening, parents. I'm indeed happy to be here, and I'm so happy to see some of you. I just want to go through briefly our hours of operation. First, our building opens at 7, and at 7:30 to 8:05, we have breakfast, and that is from kindergarten right through to our 5th grade programs. We have devotion, and I know many people ask us, what is devotion? It is just being able to just give praise unto the Lord. It's not an indoctrination into church, but this is something that we do at Cortelyou. Our instructional period begins at 8:30 in the morning, and we are finished at 2:45 p.m. Our lunch and recess would be from 11:30 to 12:55. And of course, dismissal is from 2:45 to 3, and that's if your child is not in after school. Just to clarify, if your child is in the after school program, we normally would be for our students who are in 1st grade through 5th grade. After school starts promptly at 3 p.m. this year, as Ms. Francis noted, that we do, due to COVID, we are finished by 5:15, and so pickup is by 5:30. However, as she noted, next year, academic school year, we will be going back to 6 o'clock. And of course, if you notice, after school dismissal is at 5:30. You give parents opportunities, but by 5:30, after school, that will be the time for our after school dismissal. Now on to our schedule. Our schedule, as you will notice here, we go from Monday through Friday, and we have various time periods. I'm just going to go through some of the things that we do throughout the day, or what a typical day would look like for your child. First, we have reading and writing. And of course, reading and writing encompasses for our younger ones. We have phonics, phonemic awareness for our younger ones. The older ones, of course, we do a lot of vocabulary building with them. And our reading also entails read aloud, where the teacher reads, have shared reading, independent reading, and of course, writing. And then we have our Spanish classes. Spanish, of course, is our kindergarten classes as well are doing Spanish. So just to let you know, Spanish is one of the important subjects for us. We also have current events, any situation that's happening around us. We would also discuss that with our students, because it's important for them to understand and to know what is happening, and just to be able to clear up any misconceptions as well that they may have. Then we have math, of course, our math, and it's built in our math. We have various topics, and it depends again on the various classes. Then we have computer. Computer, of course, we notice that we have our typing club, and we also have our typing club, and we have our introduction to programming, and which starts at the third grade for programming. Our kindergartners, this year we started bringing in computers, because we're teaching them the basic, which is how you place your fingers on the keys and how you type. We teach them the parts of the computer. We let them know the purpose of the computer. So this is basic for our kindergarten students. Our upper grade students, of course, we're bringing in computers starting from first grade, has specific days when they're bringing in their computers, because we are not only doing typing club and programming, but we also have various other platforms that we use in the classrooms, and they will need a computer. So we would ask all families, as we're on this platform, just to let you know, especially if you're going to first grade, all students must have a laptop computer. We're asking you not to get anything expensive, but make sure that they have a computer. Secondly, we need them to also have a Gmail account. So we want to make sure that all students have Gmail. So please be reminded, try to get a Gmail account. Once your child will be coming to this school, it's important that you have a Gmail account, which you also will have access to as well. And then social studies and global studies are integrated. We look at, for our social studies, we have various topics that we're doing. And our global studies, because we are catering for children who will be global productive citizens. And so what we do is to also ensure that you're looking at countries and the different cultures around the world. So you can uh, compare your culture with another culture, in whether it's in the United States or other cultures with other different countries. And of course, if you notice, there is also after school program that we would normally have, and that again starts at 3. And during that time and after school, we would do homework. Homework, it is not, we were teaching any concepts, but homework is just a guide. The person is there to just help your child and to supervise the homework. If there is any situation where we notice that your child is having difficulties in a specific concept, that after school teacher will bring it to the attention of the teacher. And of course, the teacher will know that he or she would have to reteach that concept the following day. Next slide. So the various platforms that we utilize at CECC, and we have been doing this for COVID, and we just say that COVID caused so much for us. I mean, it was not a great experience, but at the same time, for other teachers and all of us, we have been utilizing various platforms in the classrooms. As I noticed, every person from K through 5th grade, every person, we have a Google account or a Gmail account. And so what we do, homework is posted in there, projects, we also send notices to you as well, using our Gmail or Google platform. So everything is there, the homework is posted, you're able to see the homework from there, from the Google Classroom. We also we're doing ReadWorks, and ReadWorks is also a program that is online that we utilize with our students, and our kindergartners are utilizing it as well, all the way to our 5th grade students. And of course, we have the typing club, and every person is attached to the typing club. And then we have our code.org that we use, which would be the introduction to programming for our students. So we start doing that as well. We also have our other supplementary videos. We do other programs such as we use our Scholastic. We were utilizing paper, but this year we are using the online platform of Scholastic. And we also utilize Khan Academy, which is very good for our students as well, which will help our different readers as well. And then we have Teacher Vision that we utilize. The last one I just want to remind you is the Spanish curriculum, and the Spanish curriculum entails, we start all the way from alphabet, all the way we go through to translating, being able to translate. The older ones will be able to translate their paragraphs or translate, so they're working on different aspects in Spanish. And again, it depends on the class, because Spanish again is we have from beginning all the way to our intermediate students, which happens to be our 5th grade class. So when we have our curriculum night, you will learn more about our Spanish curriculum, but these are just some suggested topics that are covered on our curriculum. Thank you. So over to Ms. Charles.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, parents. Welcome. I just want to go through a few of our policies that are mandatory. It's very important that we label all your children's belongings, because we have children who are maybe the same size in that classroom and they're wearing the same, they have the same green sweater or the same gym sweater. So it's just important for you to just label their things and let them know where it is, so they know that, to know their belongings. Right now, birthday parties are currently on hiatus because of COVID. So hopefully, when things come back to normal in September, we can resume our birthday parties, which is usually done on Fridays. And it's important that you let the administrator know and also speak to the teachers, to let them know when you want to do it, because there are times where more than one child may have around the same birthday. So it's important, if you are planning to do something like that, to bring it to the teacher's attention and also the building administrator. So another thing too that is important, to sign in and sign out. I know there's an app where you can start signing out before you come in, and then when you come to the kiosk, you can just show the QR reader, and you just put it to the screen of the iPad, and that completes your sign in for the day. And of course, you will get, if you're new to us, you will get a code at the beginning before the school starts. And they will show you how to sign in, to log into the iPad when you come in the mornings. Another thing that's very important is our emergency contact. It's always someone who can arrive in the school between 30 to 45 minutes in case if there's an emergency, especially if families are working in Manhattan. It may take an hour or so for you to get through. So if there's someone that's close by that can pick up your son or daughter that you trust, you make sure that I have that person's number there. And similarly, if you are changing someone else, just please let them know, let the office know, so we know who's picking up your child. Another thing too, if it's someone that is new that we have never seen before, we will ask them for ID just to check, and we cross-check with the names that you have on your applications. Next, and according to the Department of Health, Mental Health and Hygiene, and our licensor, Article 47, our staff is not authorized to give your child medication. So that goes from Tylenol to any other type of medication. So if there's a time where your child needs to be medicated, it's possible that you may have to keep them at home, or you or someone that you trust can come and administer it. But our staff is not authorized to give any type of medication. And again, if your child is not feeling well, please keep them home, especially the flu, coughs, ringworm, which is very highly contagious, diarrhea, hand and foot mouth disease, and so forth. just make sure you just keep them home just to be on the safe side. Next, thank you. Attendance and late policy for our elementary school. All children must be in school by 8:30. It's very important that they come in by 8:30. If they want to have breakfast, they need to come in earlier than that. I think we start serving breakfast around 8 o'clock. We start serving breakfast at 8 o'clock. So if they want to have breakfast, it's important that they get in there by 8 o'clock to have breakfast, but they cannot have breakfast after 8:30. And it's very important, and it's, okay, 1 minute, thank you, Nick. And it's very important for especially our elementary school families to make sure that your child gets there at 8:30, because when they come in late, it disrupts the flow of the class, because now they're walking in and they're hanging up coats, they're doing all, trying to get themselves settled while the teacher may have started already. So it's very important that they're there on time. We know that things do happen from time to time, but just give us a call and let us know if you're running late, so we can, so at least we have an idea and we know. And it is recorded. When your child comes in late, it is recorded on the attendance, and it also is recorded on the report card. Next slide, Nick. Okay, as you know, we are a uniform school. Monday through Thursday, students must be in their school uniform. If it's girls, they usually have the overalls. If they're in K-2, the older girls from 3 to 5, they can wear skirts with the yellow Peter Pan shirt, and they need their tie. The older children, they can wear a blazer. All children should be wearing black shoes. Boys are required to wear black socks. All students must be dressed in their school uniform whenever there is a field trip. Hopefully when we come back in September, we'll be able to go out on our field trips. Girls are required to wear their green stockings or green socks. And again, we said the lower grade students wear green sweaters, and that's grades 1 to 2, and the upper grades, they wear their green blazers. And on Fridays, they wear their gym uniform that will be available for purchase at our office. These gym uniforms are not sold at Cookies like our school uniform. It is only sold at our school. Thank you. And last but not least, immunization requirements. As you know, a few years ago, about a year or two ago, all children must be immunized in order to be in New York City schools. So they have to have the DTaP, polio, MMR, which I think is two doses, varicella, and hepatitis. And the children who are much younger, they have to have the Hib, the PCV, and influenza shot. Right at this time, religious exemptions are not permissible. So it's very important. We know that some families are against, but as a school, we have to operate within the guidelines of the Department of Health, and they said that everyone has to be vaccinated, so we have to abide by those rules. So unless anything has changes, religious exemptions are not permissible at this time. And thank you very much. Ms. Francis, I think it's back to you, or Nick. So I'll turn it over to Nick or Mr. Francis from our accounts department.
Yes, good evening, parents. This is Mr. Nicholas. I am a part of the accounts department. I work here with Mr. Francis. So as it relates to anything, as you see on the slide with tuition and fees, we'll be the number one people to ask any questions. We're the ones who are sending out invoices, receipts, etc. So on the right side, we just have some general information. So that's our K-5 programs. Kindergarten is located both at the Marlborough Road location that you see there and the Bedford Avenue location. And on our website, which all of this information that I'm about to go over, it's on our website, as well as electronically fillable PDF applications that you can review, which go over some of the other documentation that is going to be needed. So I'm going to try to go over this fairly quickly. If you need more detail, you can always visit the website under the admissions page. But for our kindergarten program, there is a registration fee. There is a registration fee for $400 for the school year, which covers, it secures your seat, pays for any field trips if we have any during the normal school year, as we had mentioned before, textbooks, etc. It would be due upon the submission of the application. Monthly tuition for our kindergarten program would be $800, and that would include services throughout the day. So that would include the normal, what we call after school for the grade school program. Um, a late payment fee, the tuition is due by the 5th of the month. So late payment fees are charged if the tuition isn't covered by then. Financial aid, I will discuss when I hit the end of this slide. For the grade school, 1st to 5th grade, which is only located at our Bedford location, that would be $500, which is an annual registration fee. It's non-refundable. It essentially covers everything that the kindergarten registration covers. For the tuition, when you review the applications that are on the website, you'll have different options if you are able to register early. So we have options to pay tuition annually, biannually, which you would pay 2 times within the school year, or you could choose to pay tuition monthly. If you choose annually or biannually, there is a slight early payment discount that you'll notice when you review the application. But in general, our grade school with after school tuition is $900. And without after school, which is the services that end at 2:45, 3 o'clock, that's $750. Late payment fees still apply. And same as before, sibling discounts may apply. If you have any questions, you can always ask us at the accounts department, which you'll see our email right at the end. It's accounts@mycecc.com. And the last thing I briefly want to mention, financial aid can potentially be available for your family through Children's Scholarship Fund. So you can look them up on Google, learn a little bit more about their fund and their foundation and the kinds of goals that they have in terms of assisting parents. But for the scholarship, it is a partial scholarship and certain eligibility rules need to be met, which can get somewhat lengthy. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us and we can provide you with more information on that scholarship. So the next slide, pretty much just some of the other tuition and fees financial information. We do charge late pickup fees. So if your child is supposed to be picked up at 3 o'clock, it's on the application when you review it, and it's generally a part of our policies. We authorize ourselves to charge $1 per minute that the child is picked up late. We may give some leeway here and there, but generally, this is a deterrent, basically to make parents realize that their children need to be picked up on time because our staff is already there just to cover the children that are in after school. And the more children that are there, generally, we're going to need more staff. So that's why we charge those fees as a deterrent. If you have a payment, let's say you submit a check and it ends up bouncing back, there are fees associated with that. If you're interested, you can always email us and we could provide you more information on what that fee is going to be. Gym uniforms, which we briefly mentioned before, like Ms. Charles said, they're purchased directly from the school. They include, for one uniform, it's jacket and pants. That is $50. And the gym t-shirts, which are green shirts, which you'll be able to see when you come in onto the site, the location, they are $10 each. And the children would wear that underneath their gym uniform. Other fees that are associated, this is primarily aimed at the kindergartners in 5th grade because they're graduating. There would be graduation fees as it relates to their graduation ceremonies or any other yearbooks that may be provided. So as an example, in our previous school year, some of the fees went up to $180. So that gives you an idea of what fees you'll see. And like I mentioned before, a lot of this information is on our website under the admissions page. So you can always go to the website, view it, and just contact us if you have any other questions. So one more slide before I hand it off to Mr. Francis. What we had mentioned back at the top in the agenda, one of the main important things as it relates to admissions and just record keeping, it's keeping information current. Basically, it's the parent's responsibility to contact us if there are updates in the following information. So for example, if there are changes in the address, in your address, if there are changes in any of your phone numbers, contact information such as emails, you need to let us know so we can update it on our end, just in case we need to reach out to the parents. Same thing applies for emergency contacts. If the names of the people that are changing, if you're adding people, if their phone numbers are different, you need to tell us so that we can update it in our system. And the same thing applies for the information on the contact card. In general, we try to have at least 4 different emergency contacts. If you're unable to do so, you definitely have to have 1 or 2, I would say at most, at least, because that's very important in case we need to contact someone in the case of an emergency. Next thing that's also very important, physicals are due annually. So physicals and medical forms, as well as a sign off on the emergency consent, which you should see on the cumulative health record, which is a part of your application package. That needs to be handed in annually, and they expire. That's why we would need those. And any allergies, if your child's allergies change for some reason, they always update. We need to know that, just so that we have that on file. And a brief note right at the end, you also see in the application package, we have a meal form. Those are also due annually, just like the physical forms. Yeah, so before I would like to hand it off to Mr. Francis, just so that we can close out this meeting.
How you doing? Good evening, everyone. So everyone is wondering now, what is the next step? So as you see, the next step comes in is for a tour. So the first thing you want to do tomorrow, 9 a.m., that someone will be in the office to answer your call. If you would like to attend a kindergarten class at Marlboro, that number is 718-282-6077. Now the kindergartens, kindergarten at the Bedford location is from K to 5th. So you can reach out at 718-421-9581, which is the grade school, 1 through 5th. So you'll give them a call tomorrow, set up a date, whether it's at Bedford or the Annex, and they'll give you a tour. Now for the grade school, you just need to speak with the educational director. Once you set up the tour, Ms. Johnson, because she will be able to go through her assessment, because you have to communicate with the director in regards of the assessment that you might have to go through. All right, other notice, okay, parents, I'm sure a lot of parents have friends and family, and they're always looking for a great school. Everyone is looking for a great school because everyone wants to make sure that they get their child the right education in the right environment. A school that loves kids and a school that's going to go beyond their needs to make sure that your child's education is met and your requirements is met as a parent. So if you like to refer, we have what is called a referral credit. Okay, so if you refer another parent outside of yourself, okay, you'll get a $300 referral credit. So if it's more than one, you get more than 300. So there's a requirement that, that parents has to stay within the school for 3 months. So if you want to find out some more information about that, you can reach out to us at the accounts department. We also have what we try to do, as Ms. Francis spoke to you about, we're like a community. So if you have a business and you would like to make sure it's a part of our community, on our website, we have what is called Keep It Local. So we live, we buy everything and try to make sure we kind of circulate the money within our community. And if you want to find out if we're doing something for the summer, which we are, and it's called a summer enrichment program, which is from K through 8. Now, I know the public school is doing some enrichment and everyone is doing enrichment. But the key to that is to make sure you get your child in the enrichment program, because due to the fact everyone was behind a computer for almost 6 to 8 months, it's time for children to get back together, to communicate, to talk to each other, to make friends, and to work on some of the education part they may have missed out, to sharpen their self so they'll be ready for the future. Okay, so thanks for joining us. Do you have any questions? I know we'll try to attack a few of them. Everyone can take their thing off mute.
Some questions that we had in the chat. To confirm, the students will need a laptop, not a tablet. Yes, we're asking for students to have Google Chrome books. That's what we recommend. The whole laptop, $400 or $500 situation, you don't have to do. You could do a Google Chromebook, which is probably about $200 to $250, depending on when you purchase it. Another question that was in the chat was, in regards to our extracurricular, that was the performing and creative arts program. Those are additional fees because again, those are outside companies that come in and provide those services, talent under one roof. So they come in with their teachers and they do that every Friday from 10 to noon. Piano, guitar, violin, drums, as well as we have a dance teacher, the choir, and creative arts if you want to do like the fine arts.
Well, we just did one with the thing.
Are there any other general questions? I know this was kind of fast, but we wanted to make sure that we spoke to this group individually for elementary matriculation.
Yes. I just wanted to say something about the fundraiser. Someone asked about, we'd love to entertain some fundraiser ideas. Actually, we just finished a new idea with the pop-up popcorn, and the school raised $50,000, and half of it went to the school. So we received $25,000, and the other 25 went to school. So we're going to be able to take care of one of our sites, school backyard, to improve. But it was great. I'm sure some of y'all probably bought popcorn from someone else. So any ideas, bring them in.
And as far as the activities right now, because again, we've been at in-person school since September, we do intend to go back to everything as normal as of September. I mean, we're watching with the CDC and the state regulations, but as far as the performing arts programs, like our kids really need our performing arts. We want to bring that back. So we've already told our contractors that, yes, we're going back to that in September. I mean, I think, we've been in the pandemic for a while. We kind of figured out what's going on. I mean, the world still hasn't figured it out, but we've been able to curb it here at Cortellu. I mean, the class sizes are small, intimate environment, the one teacher, the 15 kids, it's been working out. So we're going to allow our performing arts teachers to come in and work with our students because we just don't want to miss out on any more learning loss.
Okay, and I think we had one last question from a parent in the chat. They had said, what level do the parents participate with the school? I guess that could be the last question we tackled before we ended here tonight.
So the parents get as involved as they would like to. So what we mean by that is there's always a place where you can kind of fit in, jump in. So as far as fundraising, as far as different school events, sometimes we need volunteers to help support. The only thing right now is because, again, due to COVID, Family Fun Day didn't happen, winter shows didn't happen, things that we need the parents for their full support, we've been doing it on the backside. So as far as getting involved, we just need parents to help with fundraising efforts. Sometimes in the past, we've had parents who help with grant writing. We've had sponsorships for different things. People work for bigger organizations. We have career day when parents come in and talk about their particular careers. So anything that you can kind of help in some supporting the school environment, we greatly appreciate it. Even our sign-in clocks for our sign-in iPads where people punch in a 4-digit code when your child comes here. It was a parent who had developed that program and now supports it. And then we help that parent roll it out to other childcare centers that we know. and it also rolls out in nursing homes and things of that nature. So we're always working in partnership with the parents. They help us thrive, we help them thrive. So we're just asking that if parents have a skill set or if they can help us in any way and we could be of assistance to them, that, you know, we can work together in partnership for the betterment of all.
Okay, yeah, and one last thing that we wanted to mention, just that last question that we saw, can the child start from the summer program or is that a different program overall? Yes, it is a different program. But let's say the child is accepted into our elementary school, you'll obviously be able to continue through September. But the summer program goes through a different application process. So you can always email us at the email you see on screen, info@mycecc.com, and we can provide more information and the next steps for you if you would like to enroll in the summer program as well as our elementary school. So without further ado, I would like to thank everybody for joining tonight. Thank you to all the admin staff that we had on the call. We have another open house coming up, so we just want to get ready for that. So thank you again, everybody, and have a great night.
Good night. Thanks for joining us. Any
Good night,
questions, please feel
everyone.
free to email.
Thank you.